Kia ora everyone and welcome back to Age of Empires 4. In this video I'm going to show you the ideal start for an average skirmish, whether it be a multiplayer game or you're fighting the AI. I want to show you my go-to strategy for advancing through the eras and out-ticking the opponent, and I shouldn't muck around because of course this is a real-time strategy game, so every second that I spend here talking is a second wasted. For starters, you have a scout and some populations. What you want to do with all of your populations is get them to start gathering food. The best way to do that is either to right-click on some berries or ideally, actually, some animals. So I'm going to send a few different ones at a couple of different animals and get them to start hunting them down. Meanwhile, in this real-time strategy game, we're going to send our scout off to explore the world. Now, in this case, I actually know what the map already looks like, so the scout isn't revealing necessarily the shape of the map, but rather future destinations to expand to, right? I'm looking for where are more stone deposits, where are more gold deposits, like these here. This is gold, this is stone. So I'm going to send my scout around, and what I can actually do is just click off into the distance as well with right click, and what the scout will do is it will run around, explore the world, and also pick up some sheep. And I can then actually, and I'll show you right now, once I've ran around and picked up a few sheep, I can send my scout back to base by right clicking on the base. And what that will do is, that will make the scout bring back any sheep that he or she has gathered along their journey. And you guessed it, with the sheep back, I can send my villagers to hunt them and return food to the base. Now, the other crucial thing with the town center, and something I should have done a long time ago, you basically just want to spam workers, okay? Q. You want to make sure that you are producing as many workers as humanly possible. The limits for workers are literally just food. So food is our number one, our first resource that we're trying to gather. Obviously, we've got our peasants here starting to farm away on these animals. And as we are now producing more in our town center, what I'm going to do is build my capacity even larger by getting my new units, my new villagers, to build houses. Each house will provide more room for more population at the cost of food. Now, why are we beelining specifically food, but also gold, which you'll see in a second, for this? In order to advance to the feudal age, I need either 400 food and 200 gold to build a palace or a chapel. The palace and the chapel will provide me with more benefits down the line, but what you must know here is that really it is food and gold. They are the two big ones. We've already got quite a few people working on food, but I'm going to send a couple to work on some berries here too. Right, so we'll get this person and this person working on berries. Our population cap is fine. Our town center is Q, spamming out workers left, right, and center. Now let's get our gold online. This is our second resource. So this gold deposit is really close to the base, but just for demonstrations purposes, what we would do is build a mining camp next to the resources that we want to mine, and then send our workers to start farming for gold, or indeed mining for gold. And I'm going to do that already as new workers start to appear. I've got enough of them-ish working on food, working on hunting and gathering. In general, it is better to hunt the animals that the scout has brought in rather than hunt for the berries, right? The scouts and the sheep or the deer, for example, will give you more food than berries. So in an ideal world, actually, I would stop these people farming berries and get them to hunt the sheep instead. It is, of course, the animals that will provide the most food to us. And as I keep producing people, and as they appear, I'm going to be manually sending them up to start harvesting that gold. Now, while we're out and about, of course, this is a real-time strategy game, so I want to be using my real time to my advantage, right? Running around with my scout, doing what the enemy is doing right now, and finding where useful resource deposits are, where sacred sites are, right? If I can control all three of these, I can win the game, but also future spots to expand. Here are some berries, for example. Maybe I want to settle near them. I'm not sure. I'm going to sort of do a bit of shift clicking around and just ensure that my dude has enough space to move. Let's jump over to the border and back there as well. So I've just shift right clicked a few different places so my scout will be able to discover that. We're going to send these new villagers up here to get gold, and if you cast your eyes down into the bottom left of the screen, you'll see that we are producing food like there's no tomorrow, but also burning through a lot of it, right? We're going for this villager rush strategy, where we essentially beeline food, we beeline a little bit of gold, we ensure that we have enough space to build up our population, and then we'll move towards advancing to the feudal age. This will unlock us a whole load of new buildings, units, technologies, you name it, we've got it. But either way, I can tell by looking down here that I have enough food, and in about half a minute, I'm going to have enough gold to advance through to the next age, and I would highly recommend that you do it almost as soon as you possibly can. You can see that the intermediate AI has already bit me to it, probably because I wasted a bit too much time hanging around talking. I didn't quite explore with my scout as early as I would have liked. This is, of course, the purposes of a demonstration video. You now knowing what exactly you need to do will be in a much better position to do this a little bit quicker than I had. But you get the general idea of this strategy, right? Make people, make food, use the food to make more people, more food, a little bit of gold along the side, and then we can click advance to the next era. I can choose to get a blacksmith that reduces technology costs there in future to upgrade my people, or a larger unit radius. I'm going to go for the chapel, and I'm just going to smash it down there, nice and close nearby. I can get a couple of extra people working on it if I'd like to speed it up, right? Add a couple of extra builders to it. But looking down at my resources, I think the next resource that we want to line up for the next era, and this will help you indeed with your pacing for the rest of the game, is actually, of course, we need some wood, right? We need lumber. So I'm going to send a couple of people just to these trees nearby. They will chop them down, start bringing some wood back, and then as I get a little bit more wood, I'll be able to build a lumber camp, right next door to the forest, and that will just help speed up the time it takes for my villagers to walk over here, chop down the trees, walk back here, return the wood to base, right? So I'll get a couple of people working on that, get an extra person working on the build there to speed that up. But for the meantime, we're really just focusing in on the resources that matter to me the most, which for the most part tends to be gold, but also now you can see I'm starting to branch out. I'm getting a little bit of extra stone. I'm getting a little bit of extra wood. Let's also get this person who is standing around doing absolutely nothing to chop down some trees too. I'm going to keep going with my scout as I right-click across this wonderful world, right, hunting out different locations. I'm going to shift right-click a couple through the darkness here just to really plot it out. You don't get the little pop-up to show that you've clicked like you do where land that you can actually see, but it's good enough, right? We'll keep plotting out this map, try and find future places to expand, future resources to extract, and of course if we run over this way, we might even get a sneak peek at my opponent. Maybe we should do that just to be safe. Because the threat level is so low and we're quite far away from our opponents, particularly in these early stages of the game, I think it's fairly safe to do this really aggressive food gathering mission for the most part. And boom, there we have it. We've built our chapel and made it through to age number 2. And in case you don't know, future ages work very similarly. We're looking for food and gold. But of course, as we move through now, we have new buildings to create, like farms for a reliable source of food, defensive buildings like outposts for extra range, so on and so forth. I'm going to do what we needed to do before, get that mining camp online, and now consider how I'd like to expand through into the next era, start to build up a bit of a military, and maybe move towards some key sacred sites. Thank you very much for watching this Age of Empires 4 tutorial. I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can take something away to help improve your gameplay. Until next time, I'll see you then. Take care and bye-bye.